Have you ever felt like you're doing everything by the book, but that stubborn belly fat just refuses to leave? Well, you are absolutely in the right place. Today, we are going to dive into the real science of why that happens and, more importantly, what you can actually do about it. Let's get right into it.
So you've been putting in the work, right? You're making smart choices with your food, you're staying consistent with your workouts, and hey, you're seeing progress pretty much everywhere else. But that fat around your midsection, it just doesn't seem to get the memo. It's a super frustrating feeling, and if this sounds familiar, I promise you, you are not alone.
Okay, so here's the most important thing to get straight right from the start. This is not about a lack of willpower. It's not about you doing something wrong. The real reason that belly fat is so incredibly persistent is rooted deep, deep down in our biology. We're about to unpack exactly what's going on inside your body. You know, you can think of fat loss kind of like peeling the layers off an onion. It doesn't all just vanish at once, and you can't pick the exact spot you want it to come from. Your body has its own game plan, a genetically determined pattern for storing and releasing fat. And for a lot of us, the fat cells around our stomach are simply the last ones in line to get the call to be used for energy. So, why are they last? Why are they so stubborn? Well, it turns out that not all fat cells are built the same. The real secret lies in these tiny little docking stations on their surface, which brings us to a tale of two very different types of receptors. So when your body needs energy, it sends out hormones into your bloodstream, and you can think of these hormones like keys that are looking for the right locks on your fat cells. These locks are what we call receptors, and when a hormone clicks into place, it unlocks the cell, signaling it to release its stored fat. But this is where things get really interesting. Okay, so check this out. Some of your fat cells, say in your arms or your face, they have what we can call cooperative receptors. They hear the signal and they give up their fat stores pretty easily. But, and this is the whole key, the fat cells in your belly have way more of these protective receptors. They are designed to resist those hormonal signals. They are literally biologically programmed to hold on tight, making them the very last to go. All right, I am almost certain you've heard this one before. Stress makes you store belly fat because of cortisol. It's everywhere. But the real science? Well, it tells a much more complicated story. It's just not that simple. So here's what's actually happening. Yes, your body makes cortisol when you're stressed, but then that cortisol has to get processed or metabolized by enzymes in your liver and other tissues. And when scientists actually study this whole metabolic process, what they find is a link to an increase in overall body fat, not specifically belly fat. And this right here, this is the proof. This is a direct quote from a major study in the Journal of Clinical Endocrinology and Metabolism. And it confirms it. The science shows the connection is to generalized obesity. That means all over your body, not central obesity, which is that specific fat around your abdomen. So, yeah, managing stress is absolutely vital for your health, but just blaming cortisol for your belly fat, that's a bit of a scientific misunderstanding. So if it's our biology, are we just stuck? Absolutely not. Now that we really get the problem, we can look at a solution that the data shows is especially good for this exact issue. 39. Just remember that number. That's how many individual scientific studies were all pooled together into one massive analysis, looking at exercise and fat loss. And whenever scientists can combine that many studies, it gives us a conclusion that is incredibly powerful and really, really reliable. And what was that conclusion? Well, it was crystal clear. High-intensity interval training, you probably know it as HIIT, was shown to be a super time-efficient strategy that significantly reduces not just total body fat and abdominal fat, but also, and this is so important, visceral fat. That's that really dangerous stuff deep inside your abdomen, wrapped around your organ. This chart from the analysis is just so telling. Don't get bogged down in all the little numbers. Just look at the overall pattern. See how all those dots and lines are on the left side? That signifies a reduction. This is powerful visual proof that HIIT is one of the best tools we have for going after that specific harmful type of visceral fat. But they didn't stop there. The analysis got even more specific. They asked, okay, but what kind of HIIT is best? It turns out that running-based HIIT was more effective for shrinking overall body fat and that deep visceral fat. But, and this is so fascinating, cycling-based HIIT actually had a slight advantage when it came to reducing total abdominal fat. So this gives you a way to kind of tailor your strategy depending on what your main goal is. So, HIIT is an amazing tool, no doubt about it. But we also have to be realistic.
For some people, their genetics and their own personal biology can create some pretty big hurdles, and sometimes even the most perfect diet and exercise plan might not be quite enough to get past those final biological roadblocks.
And in those cases, where biology is being especially resistant, it might be worth talking to a medical professional. There are different approaches out there, from physician-led programs to specific procedures that can help address those stubborn barriers. The main thing is just knowing that options do exist if diet and exercise alone aren't getting you to your health goals.
So let's wrap this up. The biggest takeaway here is that stubborn belly fat is not a personal failure. It's just your body playing out its own biological strategy. But now you understand that strategy. You know about the resistant receptors, you know the real story on cortisol, and you know about the targeted power of HIIT. So the real question is, now that you know your body's game plan, what's yours going to be?